I'd like to show you how to use the Data Dictionary editor in Pathfinder Office, and you access that by first clicking on the Trimble Pathfinder Office program, and it has this icon. Now there should be a shortcut somewhere, either here or on the desktop. Starting the program, you get the splash screen, version 5.3, which is what we're using. You need to select a project. I'm just going to go with the default. Now, you access the editor through the utilities. This allows you then to select or specify a template that you can load into your Juno and guide or aid in the collection. So I'm just going to name this thing Paul's Test. And I'm going to dispense with the comments, although it's a good idea. You get to first add features, then an attributes for those features. So my new feature, I'm going to name here a dense point and no comment. And there are default settings. I'm going to log every second. I could change this to a shorter position time. And I want 60 points, 60 fixes, I should say, per point at least. I'm going to use code phase accuracy because I'm just going to be collecting for about a minute. So I will just accept those and say OK. So now I have this dense point and it's selected. I can add attributes for it. Now we ask you to create, I think it's 6 attributes for this. So an ID, I'll name this my ID. I want 0 decimal places because I want it to be an integer. I want the ID to start at 1, and since I'm going to go for about 200 points, but I might add extra, I'm going to have a maximum value of 300 points. While I'm entering data, it will check, and if I enter a value that's outside these bounds, the data dictionary in TerraSync will squawk at me and say, no, you can't do that. I also want it to auto-increment. Now this auto-increment happens within a file, one-step value, so if I'm adding new points within a file, it'll add values. Now I can specify the value at the start for the first one, and then everyone additionally will auto increment for me. So that's okay. Oops, a default value is required, so I'm going to set the default value at 1 here, and that's okay. Now you see it's then added the ID. I can then add another one. In this case, I'm going to add a numeric, and we ask you to add values or for 4 of the densiometer measurements, and we tell you to name them something like dense SRC1 and no comment, 0 decimal places because of integers. The minimum I'm going to ask you to put is -1, and I'll also put that as the default value. That'll be a flag. If you enter values, you'll enter values between 0 and 24. So if you mess up or neglect to enter a value, this will be a flag that, oh, they didn't enter anything. If I put the default at 0 or 12 or 24, I wouldn't be able to tell a missed entry from no entry at all. So again, the default will be a -1. And I'll say don't increment it. The field entry, I can update it, and I can enter it on creation. So there it is, dense SRC1. Now we ask you to do 4 of these, changing the values of the name because we want you to enter in the 4 cardinal directions, but everything else will be the same, a -1 minimum, maximum. And I just go ahead and enter the additional ones. I'll take this offline so this doesn't get to be too long a video and come back when I'm done. Okay, I finished entering the 4 densitometer measurements, but now I ask you to provide a comment field. So I'll have a text field called comment, and I want 50 characters, and we'll just go with that. So you have a comment at the end. So there are your 6 attributes, the ID, the 4 densities, and the comment. And so I'll just go ahead and close this. And then I'll save this, and it's some name, and it'll be the DDF. I'll save it in a location. So I can go ahead and do that. And now I'm done. Now I can use the data transfer to send the densiometer, I'm sorry, the data dictionary for collecting the densiometer data up to my GPS, just like I would when I'm downloading data from it, and then open it in TerraSync, select that data dictionary, and off I go collecting information. We'll go through that in the lab.